we're going to cover a much needed topic of education today. In this upload, we're going to break down the essence of these words we hear today. You know, all of it is just words until you put the meaning behind it. And if you have no self, there is no meaning. So the ultimate meaning is what it means to self. So at knowledge of self, what we do is bring the greatest goal, and that's education. And we love to express that education with love. The understanding of God versus God. This is what we finna upload. Let's get a clear conception of these words that we have today that is just overly used. I mean, this word God is fully loaded, and this word gods is fully loaded. I mean, a fully loaded baked potato. So we have to slice and dice and see what's on top and what's on bottom, like the chives. You did. Bigger deal. So when we understanding about this understanding, we first need to get an understanding of these words. These words, God and God. And so just bear with me. And a quick disclaimer. When I'm not, I don't, let's put it this way. There's no need to show my face. What's needed is the education. You can self-actualize without seeing my face. Now the special people get to see that face. You already know. Figure deal me, but on these uploads, this is for educational purposes only. You don't need a face for education. All you need is a spirit and a mind. And I'm gonna break that down later. You know, over here at KOS, we got our own name for what these people calling their terms and their terminologies. We gotta understand these things. And so I didn't understand these things. I didn't understand God. I didn't understand gods. Hey, I have heard there's only one God, and then I have heard ye are gods. So one I was read. Hey, that was what was read in songs. So we have to bring this under the microscope. Yeah, we got to bring this under the microscope to the from the macrocosm. Hey, I'm really adept in these religious studies that they call scriptures and holy scriptures, and the understanding of what these scriptures truly mean. I searched and studied and experienced and meditated long and still seek knowledge. Seeking knowledge is something that I love to do from the cradle to the grave. So it's always better every moment. It's always the sun always shining. The internal sun always shining. The outside weather don't matter. Oh yeah, well, hey, now that disclaimer over, that's why you don't see me like you see others. I don't care to be on camera. I'm cute for camera now, but I don't care to be on camera. I care about my education. And what's important in this topic is God versus God. This has been a proliferated or a profound study and a profound journey into what is God. 2, is it a what or is it a who? That's very important. And so these things is answered just easily by knowing the basics. See, at KOS, you're going to learn the most advanced stuff. Let's put it this way, most advanced consciousness in the most simplest divine purity. That even a baby who just became 3 can understand. So now we are talking about God versus gods. Before we jump into just the baggage, we're gonna leap over the baggage and we're gonna get to the essence, because this is my duty. My duty is to get to the essence of every meaning, to every word, to every activity of self, myself. So with doing the work on myself, I'm able to bring forth a great teaching and a profound understanding that'll lead to ultimately you becoming a wise soul. A wise soul. Yeah. And so there's really no scholarship banging on these topics. So I'ma bring, and I wish, well, no, maybe I don't know yet, because some people be asking some silly questions, and silly questions as, should I eat broccoli? That's a silly question. We want extraordinary questions that's going to advance our psyche to develop to a pneumatic or a noetic understanding. Anyway, I'm having a little fun, so just have a little fun with me. We're going to get back to God and gods. Okay. God is real. Let's start that as the essence. Now, God is a who, not a what. So let's get that clear. God is real, and God is a who, not a what. Now, who God is, now that we may save that for a little later, because that may be too overwhelming to the beginning. You might get thrown off. You can't even hear the message after that. So we're gonna go to the same thing, but in another contextual awareness. And so let me say it in this form. God is a word from the east. When you put the S at the end of the word God, and you have the word gods, plural, that's Western. That's the Western form. So now we got a clear understanding. God versus gods is a East versus West thing. One is an imitation, a poor imitation of the true and original, where we say the OG. So God is from the east. So they give you a little bit of who. God is from the east. Gods are from the west. So we have an eastern and a western dialectic. So there's an eastern dialect with God that comes with a whole understanding, and there's a western understanding of God that leads to its own understanding. So this is why people are confused, because they are mixing western and eastern unknowingly. So from that understanding, the western is a new civilization. The east is not, is an ancient civilization. So God would be the parent, and gods would be the total opposite, like east and west, or sunrise and sunset. It wouldn't be the children. It would be the opposite of good, which is the demons. When the western form used, when you see gods, knowing that's a western form, they are always referring to a goetic understanding of what you're calling God. Goetic is a western form of understanding. It's a western dialectical method of understanding and specifically it's a Hegelian method. It just came to me. It's a Hegelian method and a socio-dialectic method. Fancy words for covering demonic. So to hide and cover wickedness, they use the word gods. So in your understandings, you have to be very careful where you pull this word from. If you're pulling it from any Western form, you know they're talking about demons and not the true and living God. And with the Western form, sometimes they'll slide the S off because they're talking about their main. They talking about the God that the demons serve. So this has to be an understanding. So this understanding is what most are confused by. From many, there's been a lot of philosophical pseudo-read that a lot of beings have been added, lot of naming and wording have been added to things that were so simple. So my job is to keep it simple. So God would be like the one, while God would be like 9. And the one that I'm speaking about of God is, it looks like a 0, but it's a 1. It's called the 1. That one is where you get all of your ancient understandings from. So if you hear things like he who remains, he who always existed, he who made something out of nothing. So that he is referring to the who. So we know who, we have a signal there for he. So when we're looking at this 3-letter word God, we got to know that this word God in its original form comes from the Far East. And its original form in the Far East was Arabic. Yes, God in the East is an Arabic word. So its origins, the true and living origins, comes from understanding God and not this new Arabic form. We're talking about old Arabic called Marabic. And this is where the understanding of where God comes from and where it spread it from all over the East. And the people who came into them lands as invaders want to steal people toilet paper, steal people tissue. They wanted the resources, so they created a dichotomy. And this is what we are born into today. This phase that has already occurred, but now we're born into a space where there's a generational gap, where a lot of people don't know what's going on because we've been blacked out and re-educated by demons. And so demons, best believe, are magicians and sorcerers. God don't do none of that. God forbid magic and sorcery, even oracle, but not the gods. So you have to be careful using this word in today's time, especially online, without contextual reference, as we breaking it down on this. If you're just using it in the sentence form and then going on about your business, remember in English, there's several meanings. One word can be interpreted. So if you don't give the contextual awareness, then it has the ability to be all ableness to be perceived however it's perceived. So with God originating from the East, now we would need to understand now the teachings of the East. And with the teachings of the East, this is where all the wisdoms are. And this will give you a quick, concise understanding of what the true and living God is. And it's the one akin to zero, because nothing can stop it. Nothing can beat it. Compared to this, something is nothing. But this is it's a perfect time to bring the word in. This is a ultra consciousness. So God would be an ultra consciousness called your higher self. And the polar opposite, or the the opposite side, or the suicide of God, is demons. We have to understand wordplay. So I believe, let me see, that answers the basics of God versus God. After that, you will get all the transitions. So if anything transverse to another universe, such as Greek myths, Indian myths, Chinese myths, these things are elaborations of the second education. The first education don't need an image. When we're talking about the true and living God, we don't need nothing. We don't need nothing on the screen, not even scholarship. So if you don't believe it, search this out yourself. God is originally from the east. And as a word from the east, God is an Arabic word originally. And I should rightfully say the right word is Morabic. That's the essence of Arabic. That is where you would get the understanding of who God is. And so sometimes you will hear who is the name of God, but who is where you get he. So God is a he. So I won't spoil it, but God is real, God exists, and God is the creator. And when this is understood, you will begin to drop things. And you will begin to pick up consciousness and knowledge and wisdom. And so we must understand that the plural form of gods represents spirits, demons of the lower self. So in essence, we have the higher self versus the lower self. And this is what has created the constitution and the consubstantiality of what we call consciousness. And so you can always leave a comment. I read every comment. If anything else needs to be explained that is intelligible, after reading comment, I will do an upload. So I think that'll sum us up on God versus God. The higher self versus the lower self. And that'll end and conclude the understanding of God versus gods. So let me say, just in case someone is thinking, I thought a thought, someone had I received it. What does that mean when you read it in the Bible? that ye are gods. Yes, that's a play. That's a catch play right there. That's a wordplay switch. First is improper grammar, and secondly, it fits the criteria of gods. And those gods die. Ouch. So we have to say peace and love to that, with wisdom, with knowledge and wisdom.